Hello, this is Andrea with the A.D.S agency, here to bring you the very best in marketing and branding tips, as well as business tips for those of you who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, working on your personal brand, and all of that. Welcome, and thank you so much for coming today. We so appreciate you. And today's just a little bit of a different topic. This is a little bit of a different twist today. I'm going to try to keep it short as usual. I don't always make it, but I'm going to try to keep it short. So today I want to chat about the value of life, and that's because last week we had two great losses the world dealt with. First, Kate Spade, then Anthony Bourdain. Kate Spade, I'm not a big brand girl, even though I'm in marketing and branding. I know something in me will not make me buy $1,000 purse or shoes or whatever. However, I love this little tracker thing. It's amazing. I put this on my Christmas list back in the day. Can you see this? Like when you tap it, yeah, you can kind of see that a little bit. Like the light flashes. Isn't that awesome? And so it's a tracker, like a Fitbit, but it's fashionable. This is a Kate Spade thing. And I love this. It's so adorable and ingenious and simple. And it's beautiful, which is more important. And so this is my one Kate Spade thing I have. And many people were devastated to hear about her death and the fact that she committed suicide. And I think the details around all of that are coming out. But essentially, at this point in time, it kind of seems like I think she was about to get a divorce or something. And maybe she didn't want to. And she wrote a note to her daughter, essentially saying it's not her fault and she should ask her father or something like that. Don't know. If you know the details, let me know. I don't keep up with all this like that. So that was pretty devastating. Apparently she is dealing with depression for quite some time. Anthony Bourdain really hurt because he is a man after my own heart, like many other travelers and would-be travelers, hopeful travelers around the world who wanted to go to all the marvelous places that he went to. I mean, he had the best job ever in life. Like, who would not want that job? That is like the best ever. Just travel the world and meet all kinds of people and experience different cultures and food. I could not eat half the food that he ate whatsoever. I could not eat half the food that he ate. First of all, I can't do spicy food, but I also can't eat bugs and things and whatever else he ate. So I gave him mad props for the things that he was able to do. But I just adored his spirit and flair and his openness to cultures and his willingness to sit down with people and connect over food and simple things that we all have in common. I so loved that and adored that about him. And it was shocking to hear of his own suicide. I think it was in France. He was in France filming for his show, and took his life. And ever since that happened, the country for a moment, before all of this with Kim Jong-un and all that happened this week, was talking all about mental health and suicide rates and how they've alarmingly increased, especially in certain states over the past couple of years. And it just made me think about the fact that we in our country do not talk about mental health like we do our physical health. We'll do everything in the world for our physical health. We'll do boot camps, we'll do diets, we'll, look and search for the best therapies, medicinal or otherwise, to try to cure ourselves, get better and everything with all of our physical goals, lower our cholesterol, blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. And we don't do the same for our mental health. It is just not the same. I think something I listened to said that people, hospitals are inundated because people will go to the ER with what is essentially a mental health kind of a crisis and will be there for days. literally days sometimes. They don't have the beds to take care of all these people. They don't have the staff to handle it all. The best, even, in that kind of a situation, an ER situation, that they can do is essentially restrain people if needed and give them some kind of medicine. But it's not really curing, helping anything. It's not real mental health care. They just are not staffed to handle that. And I think it's something that I hope our nation will be talking about more. I'd like to see us talk more about mental health. I saw somebody tweet, I'll have to find this for you, this past week, as all of this news was coming up and this got spurred into the news stratosphere for a minute. And they said something about how, oops, I'm out of time already, sorry. I won't be too much longer. They said something about how mental health is not a on-off state. It's not, you're either healthy or not. It's more of a continuum, a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling today, kind of a thing, where we are always, to their point, they were saying we're always somewhere on that continuum and vacillating, between a great mental health state or a solid, good mental health state and a quite poor one. We're always somewhere in between and not necessarily just either healthy or not healthy, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. I mean, that makes sense to me. So, just thinking about Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, it's quite clear, and I think we've always known this, but it's quite clear that money doesn't make you happy. Access is not happiness. Your lifestyle is not happiness. Another person is not happiness. And I had to have a dental appointment this actually yesterday. And on the wall was a quote that said, it's not so much what happens to us as it is what happens within us. Meaning, it so reminds me of the Serenity Prayer, which a lot of us know, which essentially says, God, help me to accept the things that I can't change, to change the things that I can, and to have the wisdom to know the difference, essentially. Tim Ferriss talks about expanding that sphere of the things that we can change through several acts of essentially overcoming fears or pushing ourselves to do difficult things, and therefore expanding our sphere of what's possible to be changed. So in any case, all that's to say that life is precious and valuable, and time is our most precious commodity. And I think when this is not Andrea, the expert speaking. Now, I'm not an expert in this subject. I'm just talking to you, and I want to know what you think about this too. But Andrea thinks that if someone commits suicide, it's because, you're essentially checking out. You're essentially throwing in the towel, and you're essentially giving up and saying, I can't take this anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Who knows what the rationale is in people's heads sometimes. And if you think about it too, with our issues, particularly in America, around school shootings and that kind of thing, and how a lot of that has mental health as a part of potential issues or reasons why people do what they do with these mass shootings. If someone's mental health state can lead them to either suicide or mass shootings in tandem with the suicide, I think that says something about where we are as a nation. And I think that is yet another reason why we need to concentrate on this more. My one little A.D.S tie-in with all this, because we're always talking to entrepreneurs and personal branders and all those alike, is for you as an entrepreneur, or even if you're in your career, if you're a career professional working on your personal brand, I want you to be thinking about your own personal health mental health as well as physical health, because it's all so important with our purpose in life. My word for this year, if you go back to where we were talking about on New Year's Eve, picking your word for the year, mine was purposeful. My word is purposeful for the year. And I think this ties in so nicely, because I think when a person is suicidal, they feel like they have no purpose. They can't feel like they have a purpose, otherwise they would not have checked out, is my rationale, my thinking. I could be completely wrong. I should bring on like a psychologist sometime. We can chat about it. Therapist, counselor, whatever. However, I kind of think if you're in that state, purpose is the last thing on your mind. And I think when we are very clear and have real purpose in our lives, that helps us to have a reason to be here, because purpose is the reason why we're here. So if you're in business, it's because you want to make money, or it's your passion, or both, essentially. And if you're only in it to make money, it's because you're wanting that money. You want what that money can provide. It's freedom, it's access, it's a lifestyle, whatever. But whatever it is that can afford you, ultimately you're trying to focus on purpose, ideally. And I think there's a lot of people out there who just aren't sure what that purpose is. So I want you to find that for yourself. Comment below. If you have a strong passion in life, if you think you know where you're headed with your own purpose and where you see yourself going in life, what your big dreams and goals are and why, tell me. I want to hear about those. Tell me about those positive, wonderful things that are dreams of yours, what you want to do with yourself and all of that. I'm reading Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek right now. It's taking me forever. It's not because I don't have the time to read it. It's because I'm wanting to implement so much of what I'm reading as I'm reading it. So it might take me a while to actually get through it, but I think it's worth it. I like the process that I'm going through with this. So I'm done for real. I'm done for real. And thank you for letting me talk this out. Last little note here. I think in light of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain's unfortunate exit from this planet, I'd like to also remind us all that we should be quite kind to each other and remember that we do not always know what people are going through. And that is all the more reason to be sweeter, kinder, and all that. I'm saying that to remind myself also to be that towards people. And I want you to be that towards others as well. Okay? Again, let me know your thoughts, comments. If this is your first time being here, please do check out our other videos. Largely, we talk about business. Today's a little bit of a different twist, but it all is very important for what we do here with business always. Mental health is a big part of that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe if you're not a new subscriber, and be sure to click that little bell, which is the notifications below. Generally, we try to bring these out every Tuesday. This is a Tuesday, pretty much at midnight right now. My timing didn't quite work out great this week. However, I'm getting it out there anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this topic. I know it's a serious topic, but I think it's an important one. I think we should talk more about these things. So thank you again for letting me get this out and chat with you. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.